for perfectionists, they're always like, I need to heal to be okay. And what I've realized, both in my own work and with my clients, is we're already whole. But what I work with people to do is like, it's instead of healing, we're just becoming more present and more loving to who we are already. So I don't think we're healing. I think what we're doing is building our compassion for our humanness and for our natural failing.
Hello, and thank you for joining me here on Hope to Recharge podcast, the podcast that's designed to break the stigma around mental health and to create some hope and inspiration and give some practical tips to those that are struggling with mental health, whether it's from personal stories to break the stigma or some advice from professionals in the mental health community. Whether you are struggling with mental health on your own or you know a loved one that is struggling, we are here to support you and to create a community so you know you are not alone. The road to recovery can be difficult and challenging. At Hope to Recharge, we believe that in mental health, together is always better. I'm your host, Matana. Thank you for joining me here today. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.com. Are you looking for online therapy? Are you stuck at home like everyone else? High stress, high anxiety, worried about the future, trying to navigate everything, have a lot of worries, have a lot of emotional roller coaster rides up and down, just like me. BetterHelp.com is one phone call away, one Zoom call away, one text away. It's an online platform for therapy. It's so perfect for now, for coronavirus, for what people are going through now. We can reach out and get the perfect therapist that meets our needs. Don't wait. Check them out. See if you can find somebody. Don't struggle. They're so affordable. They are so affordable. You're sitting at home. Every therapist is working online now. Reach out and get help you need. If you are struggling, don't struggle in silence. I am so grateful that they are giving us 10% off the first month so you can get affordable access to therapy. Go to betterhelp.com/hope to recharge. betterhelp.com/hope to recharge. Start your wellness, get help, get support you need. Hello, and thank you for joining me here on Hope to Recharge podcast. I'm here with Dr. Jane Tornatore. Found her online. She is a speaker, a therapist, a doctor, and she recently wrote a book, Everything is Perfect, Just Not Me. Exactly what I was feeling yesterday, Dr. Jane. I'm like, I feel like I'm having a private session with a doctor right now. God plans everything in the perfect moment. And I'm going to tell you why, Dr. Jane, in a minute. I spoke to Dr. Jane, I think 2 months ago, and we were like back and forth, and then Corona started and everything got mixed up in my calendar, and God plans everything perfectly. And I literally feel like God gifted me on my calendar a session with you right now, because yesterday I hit my 100 episode. And I was feeling like everybody is perfect in the podcast world. And I was having a conversation with exactly this topic with my producer this morning. And I said, Heather, is this what happens with every podcaster, that they have this meltdown? Everybody's better than me. No one wants to hear me. And I was having a lot of self-doubt. Am I doing this the right way? Should I quit? Maybe no one wants to hear my voice. Maybe I don't matter. Maybe I'm not giving enough to my family. Maybe I'm not giving enough to myself. I was replaying this. And then in the morning yesterday, when I woke up and I was supposed to be so excited and grateful, and I was feeling grateful for the milestone, I was feeling awful. And I canceled all my meetings yesterday, and I went to the beach with my husband. I mean, I just needed to see nature and count my blessings of the now. And I said, I have a beautiful family. I have my health. I have a mental health. I have my strength. I have so much. Be grateful for what I have, not my imperfection. And I came back so refueled, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I'm so excited that I'm here with you, because you're going to give me more tips, especially with mental health. It's with people that are struggling with mental illness, and it's constant. Am I ever going to be better? Everybody has it together more than I do. Sometimes we even have it with our colleagues, with our partners, with our children, with our sisters, brothers, parents, therapists. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm not like them. First of all, thank you for joining me here.
Yay! I am delighted to be here. And I want to just mention your episode, which I listened to yesterday. It was perfect timing. You know, I've listened to your stuff, and It's clear that you really have a huge heart and care about humanity and goodness and being who you are. That episode yesterday, it was just like, I fell in love with you more.
Oh, thank you.
Because you were so real. It's something I struggle with also because I'm a therapist. I'm supposed to be healthy and have it all together and have the answers and have the tools that work all the time. I'm a human being too. And this is one thing that I love about Brene Brown and Liz Gilbert. They're both fabulous at being wonderful at what they do and being utterly human and fallible and having the courage to share it. I'm getting teared up as I say this, but your courage to share your humanness, which is both the struggle and the joy, it's so inspiring, and it helps people, including me, feel, I guess, more lovable is the word I'd look for.
Yeah, and I think Brene Brown is a role model. Everybody, whoever listens to me knows that Brene Brown is one of my go-to in everything. And actually, it's funny that you say her, because every time I listen to her episodes, I'm like, okay, she's way out there. I can never be a podcaster. She's just so awesome. Like, why would anybody want to listen to me, Brene Brown?
Just everybody else give up.
Yes, exactly. Every single time I listen to her, I just feel so little. And then everybody has to remind me, and I have to remind myself, I have my journey, and we have to accept that and give me some inspiration and tools and tips, and give my audience a little bit of a background. What led you to this? Everybody's perfect, just not me.
Oh my goodness. Myself. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I don't think I will ever stop being a perfectionist. I'm much kinder with myself with my perfection. But I grew up, and we all have these ways we develop as little kids to cope with the world and to cope with how safe the world feels and who we need to be in the world to be safe. And so we all develop these coping mechanisms, which when we're little kids, and we literally have no power. When we're little kids, we have no power. Our lives depend on belonging in the people who care for us, right? Whether they're healthy or whether they're not, whether they're cruel or whether they're just unconditionally loving, we, at that point, need to figure out how to be safe. And for little kids, the tools are, how can I be different so I'm safe? And in my case, I wanted to keep my family safe. So how I and the people I love are safe. And, everybody has their own coping mechanisms. Mine was perfect. If I'm perfect, if I'm good, if I'm funny and kind and don't make waves and just the person everybody loves, then I'll be fine and nobody in my family will be hurt, right? Which, it's a super awesome goal. It's not achievable because I'm human. I can't be perfect. But in my little psyche and, those beliefs we form before the age of 6, unless we consciously literally reprogram our brain through different ways of thinking, like gratitude, unless we consciously reprogram, they are the unconscious drive for how we choose to be in the world. People who say, oh, I want this healthy habit and I just can't seem to do it. I know it's good for me. I want to do it. I've got great intentions for doing it and I just don't do it. And when that's happening, I always know that it's some unconscious belief that is stronger than our willpower. 90 to 95% of our beliefs and actions are unconscious, which makes sense. I mean, we breathe unconsciously, we walk unconsciously, we do a lot of stuff unconsciously, which is awesome. Because if our whole time was spent on, how do we get out of this chair again? What do I do? I mean, we wouldn't get anything done. But a lot of that is also the unconscious belief systems that were created when we were very, very little. And the only way to actually change them is bring them to consciousness and then make different choices and go, oh, I'm still safe even though I'm doing something radically different. Like every time I share some imperfectionism, I'm doing a lot of self-soothing inside going, I'm okay. Now I've let them know I'm not perfect. I'm okay. And, and the more I do it, the more comfortable I am sharing it. But it's still kind of like, I'm still okay. Because I'm working with very old belief systems, millions and millions of, neural pathways of, you have to be this way, Jane, to be safe. And so people you love aren't hurt. My family, while I love them dearly and they love me dearly, there were issues. We had violence in our family. And so, there were really, and I was never hit, but I saw people I loved being hit. And so that's why I figured if I wasn't hit, then I must know how to do something magical so I'm not hurt. So there must be something I do. And my little brain made it, oh, I have to be perfect. That's why. I won't speak up. I won't say, well, that's stupid. What'd you do? I won't do that. I'll just, be quiet and disappear, sweet as I can be, right? That wasn't the reason I wasn't hit, but I didn't know that.
What do you think was the reason?
Oh, it's a long story. A lot of dynamics. One, because I was the littlest, and two, because I learned from watching everybody else in my family to stay quiet. I learned to go under the radar and not disagree. I think that's a lot of it. It's not all of it. That's a lot of it. I just melted. I'm very good. If I don't want to be seen,
disappearing.
I'm very good at yes.
So in a way, it did keep you safe, but it was a false positive. It was a false belief that you're safe. It was safe physically, but emotionally you were destroyed because you didn't have your. Now I understand why you loved my 100th episode, because that's what I was talking about exactly. That I wanted to fit in, but I was dying inside without even knowing it at the time. I just was dying without knowing that I was dying. And only years later, I was so in pain about the fact that I was in silence.
Yeah. And I think depression is a repression of who we are, right? We spend so much energy, and we're such, alive human beings that it takes so much energy to repress us. After a while, it just becomes a nervous system pattern. And it's like, this is what I do. But I'm so alive and I've got joy. No, but wait a second. Yeah, well, I've got an idea. No. And so our nervous system adapts to our environment, and then we get stuck in there. And so we're just used to shutting it down, shutting it down, shutting it down, shutting it down. And it takes a toll.
So for years you're a therapist, but only a perfectionist. A perfectionist therapist, but only years into your giving therapy and healing, helping others heal, did you realize that you need to go through your own healing practice of noticing that you need to give yourself more self-love, compassion, acceptance, just the way you are. And perfectionism is a death toll eventually.
Yeah, it suppresses my natural buoyancy. And it's just so mean. One of the tools I want to give you is 4 words. I like basically every time somebody in my office says one of these words, I'm like, nope, nope. So I'm just pointing it out so they can notice that they're doing it. I think one of the reasons therapy is so powerful and journaling is so powerful is when we say what's in our head out loud, it doesn't seem as true. Like we can think inside, and when it's inside, it feels like absolute truth. This is what is happening. There is no doubt. No other possibility. Nope, this is true. But what about nope, absolutely not possible.
So true. It's so true.
Like when I say out loud, I should be perfect. Like that's ridiculous. But in my head, it's absolute truth. Big T truth. Isn't that fascinating?
Oh my gosh. And I guess that's why good coaches and therapists and doctors repeat to you, is this what you mean? Right. And then you're like, no, I hope not. But they repeated the exact same words we said.
Right.
Let me get you right. Is this what you say? Is this what you're saying? And then you're like, wait, no. Because when we hear it out loud, it's not the voices in our head. Wow, that's so interesting.
Isn't that fascinating? I don't know what it is. Maybe I know a different part of our brain is activated when we hear stuff and when we speak. So maybe it's just bringing more parts of our brain on board. So it's not just our ego giving the nasty messages. You talk about why do we say stuff like this? Our neocortex is some think it might be the center of our ego. And the ego never says, you're doing a super job. Yay for you. That's awesome. You can take a rest. No, the ego is always like, you should be better. You should do better. Do it differently. Forget it. Don't even try because you should have done it already. Who do you think you are? And there's some belief that our ego is centered in our neocortex, which is the newest part of our brain. Like very few mammals have a neocortex. And when we are not actively engaged, when we're not, like totally engrossed in what we're doing, the neocortex is searching for danger. It's searching for what's wrong. It's searching for how we should do things and fix things differently. Like it's constantly on a search. And we have on average, like 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, right? Most of them repetitive, most of them negative. Yeah. So this is why practices like gratitude is so powerful, because we're literally rewiring new neural pathways to compensate for the ones that happen without us even thinking about. Like automatically we're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What did I do wrong? What did he do wrong? What did she do wrong? What did I do wrong? What am I missing? Like 60 to 70,000 times a day.
Unbelievable. Right? Unbelievable. And I also heard that at night we're replaying the loudest voices and the voices that we play right before we go to sleep. So even when we're sleeping, we're replaying voices in our subconscious, and it's going over and over and over. And the louder the voice was during the day and right before you went to sleep, that's the voice you're going to have at night. And usually you're going to wake up with that same emotion. So if you're going to sleep in a positive place, you're going to wake up in a positive. You're going to go to sleep negative, you're probably going to get up with a negative feeling outlook, unless you do a hard stop and say, okay, I'm going into positive.
Right. For some reason, and I've heard that, but for some reason that doesn't work for me. I think my brain just does a lot of work at night, and I wake up wherever I am doing that work. But one of the things, our brain at night, one of the reasons sleep is so important is that our brain processes information, and it does a lot of emotional processing. Like it's one, storing information that we learned, but it's also figuring out what are the emotional and social implications of what we experience during the day. This is why a lot of people are having coronavirus nightmares, because there's so much stress, and we're hearing about, so many people who are hurting and dying and suffering in so many different ways. And our brain hears that. For those of us who listen to the news a lot, and I limit mine, our brain is trying to make sense of our day. And Rick Hansen, I don't know if he came up with this, but he's the person I heard it from. He said, the brain is like Teflon for good, gratitude, happiness, compliments. And the brain is Velcro for bad. Like those loudest voices are almost always the negative ones. And this is just how our brain works. And it makes sense because it kept us safe. Like when we were back in the savannah days, wandering the lands, which was more important, where the strawberries bloomed or, the pattern of the local tiger, right? You're going to notice the tiger. You're going to put all your energy on the tiger. It's what kept us alive. And we still have that brain structure, but we don't have the same dangers we had when our brain was formed. So this is the brain we've got, and it's gratitude practices and, focusing on what we can do, what we are capable of, that can rewire our brain as it naturally came to us. And so you're right. If you go to sleep with gratitude, and I practice gratitude first thing when I wake up and last thing before I go to sleep, those neurons are firing. Your brain's sorting of the information of the day is going to include gratitude. So you're literally changing how your brain stores those memories. It's awesome.
Do you learn this only later in life, after you had some kinds of wake-up call?
I don't know. I've been doing self-growth work for as long as I can remember, because I always knew I had so much pain, and yet people who loved me would say, Jane, why do you, what? I had a horrible self-esteem. Oh my goodness, it was just horrible. And people would look at me and they would love me, and I was delightful, and I had friends and people who loved me, but I could never take it in. And I was so confused. I'm like, why do they think I'm so great? Why do they want to spend time with me when I'm garbage in my mind? I'm wondering why anyone wants to be with me at all. And so I was curious enough and insightful enough to go, well, maybe there's another way to be inside my head. So I started a search very early on other ways, hearing other voices. And reading, and mostly reading at that time because we didn't have podcasts, but reading other voices. Like I read Brene Brown, for a while I read her every year, Gifts of Imperfection, every year. And I would just listen to all these people, you can heal your life, all that stuff. And I was like, oh, there's another way. There's another way than my belief system. And I just kept at it. Actually, do you want to know the real turning point towards self-love? I don't tell many people this story, but I was dating someone in graduate school, and I had hoped to marry him. And he left me for another woman who he'd been with before. And I was devastated because one of the beliefs I learned was, if a man loves me, I'm lovable. Nobody ever said that overtly, but that was just one of the things my little brain figured out. It was what I learned. But so I literally became suicidal. I was suffering. I was drinking a lot. I couldn't focus. The only things that I would feel better was when I was exercising or I was drunk. Those are the only two times I wasn't in immense pain. And then I was reading a book, and I can't remember which one. It might have been You Can Heal Your Life, but I haven't been able to find the passage. But some brilliant author wrote, the other person hurt you once. You hurt yourself 1,000 times every time you think it. And I'm like, wow. Because at this point, I hadn't talked to my ex in like 3 months. And I was still like every day, knife about him and his partner. Knife. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing this. This is not him.
Right.
This is me.
Wow.
And so at that point, I went, okay, well, this belief system clearly isn't going to work for me.
Right.
So it's time to find another one. So I read everything I could and did all sorts of stuff and started doing little acts of self-care. So I would love myself. So I would never depend on somebody else to love me for me. Now, I love receiving love.
Right.
It's awesome.
Everybody does.
Right. But I can't make someone love me for me.
Say that again. I can't
make somebody love me for me.
Powerful words.
So many of us do that. I mean, so many of us do that.
But when we love ourselves so much, we're so lovable. We're like magnets.
Right?
Yes.
I know.
When we love ourselves with all of our imperfections, we're a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh, she's awesome. She knows that she's imperfect because no one's perfect. And she's okay with who she is. She.
And we implicitly give them permission to love themselves when they're imperfect also. Like, we don't have to say anything.
Nice.
But their little brains are going, well, she's imperfect. She can love herself. Right?
Right. So tell me about the book. How did you come about writing it? It's basically a toolkit to self-compassion, acceptance, love. So how did you come about to write it? And is it practices that you trained yourself that worked perfectly and you're like, I need to give this to the world because they don't work perfectly in my life. Oh, they don't?
No, sometimes they work better than others. I like to have a lot of tools.
Right.
So sometimes I go through all of them and sometimes this one works and this one doesn't. Sometimes this one totally works and then this one doesn't. But it's having a toolbox to fit us in the moment. And there's some days, Matana, where I am not to be consoled.
And we just want to feel bad.
Yes.
We just want to feel bad.
In it. So I forgive myself for feeling. Right. And I just feel it.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, can I share that model?
Yes.
My feelings model?
Yes.
So I developed this model one day when acquaintance of mine was having massages at half price. And I love massages. And it's not something I do a really great job at gifting myself. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get 3 massages. I'll help her. I'll help me. And this is awesome. So it was a 6 months package and I got one and it was awesome. And then I didn't make another appointment for a while. And then one day I'm sitting in my living room and I'm thinking, hey, I wonder when that massage package is up. So I texted her and I said, when's that package up? She said, next week.
Oh my God.
Right? So I went on her website to schedule, nothing available. Like literally I would have had to cancel clients to get a massage. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to I got to get a massage. Right? So I was like, crap. And I was just walking around fuming and being so angry. And I was alternating between, well, she should have let me know 6 months was almost up. And I'm like, no, it's not her fault. She didn't do anything wrong. Well, she shouldn't have had a 6-month package. It should be a forever package. No, it's her package. She gets to set the limits. And I'm like, well, stop being so stupid. You just wasted money. Stop crying over money. And so I would just alternate between trying to stop myself from feeling it and trying to blame her or me for what I was feeling. And it was awful. And then all of a sudden, I remember I was walking into my kitchen and I stopped and I'm like, I'm angry and I don't want to feel it. Because in my family, anger is dangerous. So I learned you just don't feel angry. And then I'm like, whoa, of course I'm angry. I lost some money. Of course I am. So I went and sat on my couch and I just sat there and just felt angry. I tried to stop my thoughts and I just felt angry. And then after about 5 minutes, I got up and went, whoops. Well, I won't do that again. And then half an hour later, she texted me and she said, hey, if you want me to extend that a little bit, I'm happy to. Yes. And they are right online and booked both appointments. Right? So it was a really easy lesson, but it was a beautiful just experiential lesson for me of when we just sit and feel our feelings, like they're meant to be felt. They aren't stuckings. They aren't repressings. They're feelings. And when we stop and just feel them as much as possible without thought, but just physically feel the emotion, they're gone. Like our body's natural process is done. Like anytime we get startled or hear something, within, research says anywhere from 90 seconds to 2 minutes, our neurochemical response is done. So if it's still there, it's because we're repressing it and stopping it from flowing, or feeding it so we just keep it going, right? So, and in the spirit of non-perfectionism, I've never gotten down to 2 minutes. When it's a really big emotion, the fastest I've ever gotten to is 5 minutes. And that's with a lot of practice.
But it could be also an hour if you need it.
It could be an hour.
And if it's a real big, when I was interviewing somebody yesterday that lost her husband when he just went to work, he was 40 years old, went to work and collapsed at work, and no warning. He just collapsed at work and passed away. And she was saying that the wisest words she had from someone coming, that a grief counselor came and says, everybody's going to throw medication on you to stop the pain because the pain is going to be unbearable. You have to walk through the pain. You have to walk through it. There's no avoiding it. You have to feel it. Walk through it.
I have a quote. Can I share it with you?
Yes.
From Rilke, Rainier Maria Rilke. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final.
Walk through it. Get to the other side of it, right? That's what you're saying. And everybody has, and when we're mindful about it and we're setting aside time and say, okay, let's see if we could do it in 20 minutes, let's do it in 5 minutes, whatever it is, we really need to expedite it, but be mindful how long it's lasting. And if we can, okay, where are we holding now?
Exactly.
And in a way, maybe he said, okay, I was angry enough today. Maybe we'll revisit the anger tomorrow. Let's put it aside, but walk through it until it kind of changes. But if we try to avoid it, it's not going to change. It's going to keep on touching us, like tapping on our shoulder. I'm here.
Right.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Right. Exactly. Very insightful. And my yoga teacher, I say this 1,000 times, and I'm going to say it 1,001. My yoga teacher, Devira, which I owe a tremendous amount of gratitude to her. When I was so depressed, I used to say, Devira, I need this healer. I need that. I need the doctor. I can't. When am I going to end this pain, this darkness, this depression? Right. She said, Matana, you have all the answers inside you. Stop avoiding the pain. Feel it. Right. Be in it. Let it attack you. Let's just be in it. And I said, who wants to be in the pain? I want to disconnect from the pain. I want to just let it go. And she's like, well, there's no way out. You need to feel it in order to leave it. And I didn't want to hear it. And she kept on saying it over and over and over until I'm like, okay, I need to feel it. And that was the beginning of my switching, like looking for everyone to fix me besides me fixing myself.
Yep. The power is always within us. Always.
So what's another tool that you use? I want to give the audience a bunch of tools, because I do believe that the foundation, I tell this to anybody that comes and asks me, where do I start healing? Self-love and self-acceptance and compassion. Yeah. Those are the three. If you don't have that, you can keep on doing work. They'll stick for a while, then you're going to fall apart again. If you don't have the fundamental tools and the practices and just believing of self-love, acceptance, compassion, you won't last too long before you fall. And then you're frustrated again that you're in that dark gloominess. We all fall. The question is how long we stay in that little space of darkness. So I believe that that's the foundation before you do anything. Compassion, acceptance. So give me some of your tools, your magic tools that are in the book. And I highly recommend everybody buying it.
Yay. Thank you. One thing that's kind of a core principle in how I work is, like, my motto is love yourself now. You don't have to wait. Because so many people, especially I draw perfectionists to work with me because, I am one. But we think when we're here, somewhere we're imagining we're going to be okay. When we're here, we're going to be lovable. And then when we're there, we're going to be okay. When we're there, people can love us. We always have this goal in mind. When we're there, we'll be okay. And I've kind of shifted my beliefs about healing, because for perfectionists, they're always like, I need to heal to be okay. And what I've realized, both in my own work and with my clients, is we're already whole. But what I work with people to do is like, it's instead of healing, we're just becoming more present and more loving to who we are already. So I don't think we're healing. I think what we're doing is building our compassion for our humanness and for our natural failings. Like, we're already whole. We're already okay. We are already enough. It's more like we're expanding ourselves to kind of catch up with who we already are. And I'm getting chills as I say that, because I'm like, that's such a compassionate and adventurous way to do self-love. It's like, whoa, I'm just catching up with myself.
Right.
Awesome. Right.
Right. Yes.
And I think what we're doing in that self-compassion, self-love work is peeling away the patterns, the behaviors, the shields we developed from past hurt. Those are the only reasons we don't love ourselves. Like, we don't come out of the womb going, I suck. Can't believe I'm making my family change me and, smell my smelly diapers and feed me. And
right.
I'm keeping
so true. Oh my God. That's so true.
Weird.
That's
right?
so true.
So we learn. We unlearn that. So what we're really doing in all this work is just taking away these learnings that we learned to keep ourselves safe. So there's nothing wrong. They kept us safe when they were all we had. But now it's kind of like, take away this, take it, so we can expand into who we really always have been. But like depression, we're squishing ourselves. Like, we're squishing our natural being so we can, quote, feel safe. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's my reframe on healing. It feels much more doable to me.
Yeah. No, right. And it's also not one switch and it's over. It takes time. Right. It's a practice.
Right. Absolutely. It's
relearning.
Absolutely. And just like exercise, like somebody said to me, we think once we do the self-help stuff, we should be all better. But it's not like we exercise and go, great, I've got the body I want. My muscles are toned. Now I can do something else. No, we always exercise, if that's important to us, to keep our muscles toned. So, but we think with self-help, we should, okay, now I should just, what's wrong with me that I still have these doubts? This doesn't work. We don't say that about exercise.
No, right. It's constant.
Right? It's constant. And that's okay.
Right.
Absolutely. Because remember, we've got our neocortex.
Right. It's constant. And when we stop, we regress.
Yes.
When we stop, we regress.
Because our little neocortex is like, you're doing it wrong. It just wants to keep us safe. There's nothing wrong with it. But safe is not thriving. Safe is not expanding. Safe is small and making as small a target as possible.
Right, right.
And it can't thrive there.
Right.
But I want to share 4 words that if I were queen of the world, I would ban the words should, must, have to, and need.
Should.
And from
again,
should, must, have to, and need. And for Midwesterners, gotta. So why I would do that is, can we do an experiment with me? So think of something that, we've all got these things on our list that we need to do or we have to do or we should do. So choose something now that you have to do or, it's on your list and you got to do it. Okay. Now, if you want to share it out loud, fine. If you just want to say it inside, say it and then close your eyes and notice what you feel in your body.
Stress.
Right. And where do you feel the stress?
My chest.
Your chest. Great. Beautiful noticing. Now say, it'd be a good idea for me to do whatever it is you.
Wow, I'm already breathing deeply and just relaxing.
Right? You just took a breath. Right. So our words are so powerful, which is why gratitude is so powerful. These words, should, must, have to, need, automatically create stress in our lives because they're commandments, right? You should do it. And if we should do it and we haven't done it already, we're already failing. So by saying, I need to do this and we haven't done it, we're already just giving lots of evidence to the ego of how we suck, how we're screwing up, how we're not good enough, how blah, 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 blah. So those words literally make it more difficult to do what it is we're trying to do. So I replace the word should, must, have to, need with it'd be helpful, it'd be a good idea, an option is to, and if it's really, really true, I want to, or I'd like to, because our body is a beautiful radar system for when we're telling ourselves the truth and when we're not. So if I say to myself, I want to do taxes, my body's like, that's a load of crap. I don't want to do it. I just feel stressed because I'm lying to myself.
Right.
Now, would it be a good idea? absolutely. I just said that and my chest went, yeah, it would be a good idea. So we take away a level of resistance to something that's important for us to do. Now, when people give me pushback and like, no, I have to work, I have to pay my taxes. I'm like, well, will you die if you don't do those? I'm like, no. So the ego hates not having power. Like we all become two. If you say you have to do this, we're like, no, you don't. We get resistant. But if we say, I'm doing this because I don't want the consequences.
Right.
I pay my rent or my mortgage because I like having a roof over my head.
Yeah.
I go to job because I like having money. I do this because I don't want to be fined. So when we give ourselves that agency of doing this because this is important to me, because I want to, because this is in accordance with my values, and it's just important for me, right? There are 5 things. If we don't do them, we will die. Eat, sleep, drink, breathe, and defecate. If we don't do those, we will literally die. Everything else we are choosing. And when we realize we are choosing, we literally touch into the power we actually have. We're not victims. We're doing this because we like the effects of this choice, of this action. Like I pay my taxes because I don't like fines.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
So I will pay my taxes.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I actually love it. I think like we're saying, I rather have the benefits versus the consequence.
Yes. That's all we're saying. Like nobody is making us do this, even though.
And no one's saying it's easy, but we're choosing the benefits rather than the consequences. And when we're nice to ourselves about it and noticing that we're helping ourselves and we don't must have,
right,
should, it need. As a parent, I see why I say, oh my gosh, I need to pick up my child from playgroup now. But it doesn't, yes, I need to, but in a way, what's the difference between I really should go now? I really should go now.
Right. And how's that feel? I should go now.
Yeah, I should go. It's responsibility versus a task
well, should is also one of those words. Say, I want to pick up my kid because I like not making my kid wait. I mean, really, if you don't pick up your kid, they're not going to die. They're going to be pissed or lonely or sad or scared.
Right. And you'll get fined from the school. Yeah.
But you're doing it because part of your value system is to be a responsible parent. I mean, that's just part of who you are.
And this increases self-love and self-compassion.
Yes. Because anytime we act within our own integrity and we each, it's a lot of work to pay attention to what's our moral guidance system. But when we act from our internal moral guidance system, when we act in integrity, we automatically have more self-love and peace because we're acting in accordance to what's important to us. Most of us have a pretty good moral guidance system. There are a few people who don't. They just don't have the capacity for empathy and this, sense of others being important also. They're an exception. But most of us don't wake up in the morning and go, how many people can I screw today? Whose life can I make miserable? No. Most of us are doing the best we can and we make mistakes. So, if we trust our guidance system and tune into it and focus on what decisions make us feel good and what decisions make us feel bad, because they're against who we are at our core. That is self-love. That's self-love in action. I am being true to me. Other people might be mad. Like Brene Brown talks a lot about how people are pissed off at what she says because they don't agree and it's threatening to them. But it's so part of her value system. She will walk through because that's how she is true to her. And that is self-love in action.
I was just talking to my group yesterday, and I was saying I sometimes fear living out loud because people will rebuke me for not believing in my system, what makes me happy, what makes me tick, what makes me work, what makes me move forward. And I shut myself down because I'm afraid to hear. But that means I'm not living for myself, because if I was living for myself, I should not care. But it's such a fine line. But it's such a fine line. I know, but it's a fine line because you don't want to hurt people. But people are going to choose to be hurt by it or just say, we don't have the same belief system, and that's okay.
Exactly. And speaking out loud, when people are free, people who do not feel that freedom are threatened. Because when you see someone being free, in whatever form, it it does this implicit message of, well, that's possible. How come they can be free when I'm not allowing myself to be free, or these other people won't allow me to be free? How dare you? How dare you show me what is possible? That's really what they're doing, not consciously, but that's what's going on. How dare you be free when I can't be? Stop it.
I love that.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, their reactions are not about us. They're about them and their own underlying beliefs that they learn.
I do the same thing. I judge people all the time.
I know, me too.
I judge people all the time, unfortunately, and I try hard. I came a long way. I really came a long way just from my journey to understand that there's no one shoe that fits everyone or one way. And if it's something that's not good for me, it's okay to put boundaries and disconnect from it. But it's fine.
Yeah.
It's really fine. And to stick to my core values. If it's not my core values, it's okay. Let them live their life with their core values as long as it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, we get to set boundaries. We don't get to tell people what their core values are. We do get to say, your core values don't fit with mine, so I'm not going to play with you.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. And one of the things that really helps me because I judge too, everybody judges, it's part of our neocortex and our left brain, is I really try to, when we judge somebody else, it's frequently something in ourselves that we don't like. And they're showing it like, stop it. I don't want to see it. Stop it. So there's that. But two, I try to, as best I can, go, wow, that's how they learn to be safe. That must hurt awfully because they're clearly not happy. I mean, when people attack, they're not happy campers. They are going, I am so joyful, reaming you. I mean, no, they're angry. They're upset. They feel awful. And so there's a lot of pain and suffering there. So I try my best. And, sometimes it's a huge challenge, but I try to go, wow, they're really suffering. They learned beliefs that really are not helping them. They're making them unhappy and people around them unhappy. What suffering?
Yeah. Interesting. So perspective.
Because it's true. I mean, we don't wake up going, I want to make as many people miserable as possible. And if we do, we've got a major brain disorder.
Right. And we need a lot of help.
And it may never work because it's a major brain disorder,
right.
But, you create boundaries.
Right. Yes. Jane, I want to ask you, a lot of people lack belief in themselves and love because they were shown lack of love and put down and abuse and mental and emotional and physical abuse.
Yeah.
And when they finally disconnect from that abuse, they're trying to relearn that they're worthy and loved. Mm-hmm. Where's the first step to take? Because it's rewiring so much for so many years. Yeah. So when somebody says, I feel unlovable, I feel no one loves me. What's there to love about me? What's there to care about me? What do you tell them to do? The smallest step to start self-compassion, self-love, acceptance.
The first thing I tell everybody, and I do this to myself a lot, I learned this from Tara Brach, and she puts her hand on her heart, which triggers our heart neurons, and we've got as many neural pathways and neurons in our heart is our brain. And I put my hand on my heart and go, I'm hurting. And just that act of, it's basically saying to myself, I'm so sorry you're hurting. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. Like so many of our caregivers and parents couldn't be with their own pain. So they couldn't be with their kids' pain because it was too much. They couldn't be with it. So stop it. I'll give you something to cry about. I mean, they can't handle the pain. So they don't want you to have your pain because they couldn't handle their pain. So the first act of love is I'm hurting. And being, as you talked about, like walking through that pain, being with ourselves as we're having our very natural feelings. Wow, I don't feel lovable. I'm hurting. Oh.
Like giving someone a little kid a hug when they scraped their knee when they fell.
Exactly. You're okay. You're just hurting. This will pass too. You're just hurting. That's when parents can give their kids the capability to be with what they're feeling, like to be bigger than their feelings and their thoughts. It's such a great gift. But most of us don't know we're bigger than our feelings and our thoughts. So we can't teach that to the ones in our care.
Right.
So this is basically like, I'm here for me. I'm totally fallible. I'm not sure I'm enough to be with me. And yet here I am being with me because it's what I've got. And just a simple hand on the heart is a great love or great act of self-love and self-compassion.
Okay, great tip. And do you believe in affirmations, words of affirmation or stuff like that to reignite our self-love with ourselves that was completely put out?
Yeah. I have had a love-hate relationship with affirmations, because when I started this journey, I would say, I am beautiful, I am lovable, I am wealthy. And when I would say that, my body would go, you are so lying to yourself. And I'd feel worse. I'd actually shut down. Like, I was reading Wayne Dyer on the beginning of this journey, and he said, your thoughts create your reality. And I literally put this in the beginning of the book. I shut the book and went, I'm screwed. I must not even try, because all my thoughts are awful. So I will be awful for the rest of my life. But what I've discovered, and there's this woman named Dana Wilde. She wrote a book, Train Your Brain. She's awesome. She developed a methodology to make affirmations that actually work. So instead of saying, I'm so lovable, I would say, well, I want to be lovable. And if that even felt too much, I would go, well, I want to be lovable. Being lovable I would love that. And I can get behind that. My whole system can get behind that.
And then it shifts?
Yes. So you stay there until that's totally comfortable. And then you push it a little more. Like with my clients, if they can't want something, I'll say, do you want it? And they'll go, yeah, I do. Because our heart speaks to that, right? Our heart wants this. But, so when they get comfortable with want, I'm like, okay, do you want it? No, it's too much. Okay, so I'd like to want it someday. And then they stick with that until that's comfortable. And so we just kind of gradually, gently, easily, compassionately build our mantras, our affirmations, to just stretch us just a little bit. If we stretch too much, shut down. If we stretch a little bit, it's like, nobody killed me. I'm still safe. Stretch a little bit. Okay, I'm still safe. Stretch a little more. Wait and see. We go through the fear until we're safe. And then we step to the next level of fear until we're safe.
I think I'm going to use that. I'm actually going to use that. Even though I'm a huge believer in the power of words and and the secret, the power, the journey, all that. That's what changed my whole mindset. But for years I was battling it. And I said, okay, it can't hurt. I'm going to do it even though I don't believe in it. And I just kept on noticing my thoughts, but I think it would work better and faster if I would just do what you did, like micro step, and it just evolves faster.
Because we have less resistance. And just like the word should, must, have to, need, they create resistance. Affirmations that we want to be true, absolutely. They're too big, so they actually create more resistance. So we have to fight our way through the resistance versus just a little resistance, which is easier to step through. Another one of my favorite affirmations, which I got from my friend Melissa, is I'm the kind of person who.
I'm the kind of person
who. Mm-hmm. I'm the kind of person who likes to exercise. I'm the kind of person who likes to give my body food that's good for it. I'm the kind of person who likes to get ready for bed on time.
Even if you don't like early bedtime.
Well, I'm the kind of person who likes to go to the bed or something that actually works for us. If you don't like an early bedtime, your clock is not set for it. Don't try to make yourself an early to bed person. Work with how your body is. I'm the kind of person who goes to bed with enough time to sleep, or, whatever it is that actually fits you and your life and, how you live.
But what if it's not true, but I should? I feel like I should, but it's really not me. So maybe we go to sleep late, but we're getting up without energy. I'm the kind of person that likes to wake up with energy.
Right. Yeah. Say that. And then, that'll
work
feed
backward.
Into your unconscious.
Right.
Yeah. I'm that kind of person who likes to feed up with energy, to wake up with energy. Well, what would actually help me do that? So one of the things we can do is put our subconscious to work for us. Like, the tools I give are so simple, but they work on the conscious, and the real power is the unconscious level. When our unconscious is basically saying, hey, what do you want me to focus on? Hey, what do you want me to focus on? So if we say, I'm the kind of person who, your brain will be like, okay, well, if I like to wake up with energy, then going to bed by 11 might be good. But I don't like to go there but then. I know, but you also really like waking up with energy. So it might be worth a try to see if it works to wake up with energy. Because what actually is more important to you, waking up with energy or staying up to read the book or have time to yourself, or, whatever the reasons we stay up, and let your own guidance system choose. It might be staying up is actually more important to you than waking up with energy. But let your guidance system, not the should, but your guidance system, help you choose what your path to health is.
Love that. So helpful. And it's with it's with kindness, like for our children. If we say, you must go to sleep now, or, it'd be a really good idea if you went to sleep now because you'll have more energy tomorrow.
Exactly. Do you like having energy or do you like waking up tired? No kid's going to say, I like waking up tired. Unless they're feeling belligerent, then they will.
Right.
Go, oh, that's funny.
Right.
Really? Okay.
Yes, but it's always, kids listen better when we come with compassion and empathy and soft voices. It's so hard to do. I'm far from that.
Right, me too. Right.
But I know, and I catch myself sometimes in the moment when I'm like an authority and I know that they're not listening. When I'm an authority, they're not listening. They're just not listening. Right. But when there's a conversation, it could be an authority with a conversation and empathy and sympathy, and they still respect you. But what's the tone? And that's the way we should speak to ourselves.
Right. Not should.
Oh,
it's super helpful though.
Wow, look at that radar you have. Your radar is up. Your radar is up. Good for you. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for catching me. Wow, that's a lot of exercise. I wish there was like a buzz, the new cars, like when you go off the show, like a little bit off the line, it buzzes and bzz, like the car's like, oh, you're not in your lane.
Right. I know.
Nice. So I have 2 more questions, one that I ask everybody and one specifically for you. What do you believe about the saying, I am enough?
I believe it's absolutely true. Always has been, always will be. No should. No, I don't believe that much enough.
Okay. Do you believe it's a good idea?
We say it all the time.
Do you believe it's a good idea to say it to ourselves often, even if we don't feel it?
I'd say if we say it and it makes us feel worse, like it creates a repression of some sort, a stress of some sort, then don't say that. Make it so you can say it so it's a little bit of stretch. I want to believe I'm enough.
Like go back to that, what you taught me a few minutes ago. Go back to the comfort zone where you are. I want to believe. I want to feel. It would be awesome to feel that I'm enough.
Yes.
I want to get there. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Right? Because it literally expands us. When you say it, it expands you, right?
And you can actually deal with it. And your brain can wrap yourself around that feeling and emotion versus saying, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And give you 1,000 reasons why you're not enough. And 1,000 reasons why people taught you that you're not enough.
Right. Yep.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. I love this. I love this. I love this. Okay. So before we go, before we ask you where we can find all of your stuff and follow your teachings, what does hope mean to you?
What a great question. Hope means there's always possibility for change.
I feel like it's like your statement, right? Your statement of I should, not should, I would be great. That's hope. It would be great. I'm not there yet.
Yes.
It would be great to feel enough. It would be great if I believe this. It would feel good. And that's hope. Those words are hope.
Yes.
Because you're training yourself to say, I might not be perfect now in whatever is going on. And I might not feel safe. I might not feel enough. And I might not have all the answers, but I want to. It will feel great. So all these little things are hope. We're creating sentences of hope throughout our day.
I love that. Nobody's ever said that to me before.
But I just got it through now because that's what we were saying, right? Creating that space to not reject the no, I'm not. Give it possibility. And what's that? Hope.
Hope. Yeah.
Awesome.
That was awesome. I've never thought about it that way.
Wow.
I love that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So where can your book is on Amazon, right? Everyone's perfect, just not me.
Yep. Everything is perfect, just not me.
Everything is perfect, just not me. Get the book. Toolkit. Great ideas. What we discussed now is a sample of what's going on in the book.
Yes.
Where can people follow you?
I have, if people want to sign up, I send out kind of monthly love notes, which is my perception and tools for how to help us when we're suffering, tools for stress reduction, just ways to perceive and be in the world with more compassion and self-love and less stress. They can go to my website, everydaylove.me. I've got a little PDF there of, 4 words never to say, and then the 4 words or the words to replace them with. If they sign up for that, they can then get my love notes. And I'm also on Facebook, Everyday Love. I think that's, not me on that. My website is everydaylove.me, but the Facebook is Everyday Love. And I've got little posts of quotes that inspire me and stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, if anybody heard this and feels like they can change one person's life, we all have people around us that we're trying to help. We understand, we empathize. Share this episode with them. Maybe gift the book to them. Maybe if you know somebody that's struggling with perfectionism, get Dr. Jane's book. Maybe you'll save their life. Maybe they'll have something to look forward to and say, I might want to become this. It will be nice if I become that. So think who you can help with this. Share this episode with them. Leave a review. If you can, go to iTunes, leave a review. Tell us what you think. Tell us what works for you. If any of this resonated with you, tell us, share with us. We would love to hear from you. And thank you, Dr. Jane, for joining me here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a delightful conversation.
Bye till next time. Thank you for joining us and taking the time to listen. I really appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe button so you can hear further episodes. If you are listening to us on iTunes, please leave feedback and ratings below. Let us know if there's any topic that you would like to hear from us in the future. Bye till next time.